The number of Americans filing new claims for unemployment benefits rose by 1,000 last week, according to the U.S. Labor Department. Now, this could stoke fears that the labor market recovery has actually stalled. Meanwhile, the U.S. trade deficit has narrowed unexpectedly in the month of April as exports have risen to a new record and imports from Japan have tumbled more than 25%. For all of this and more, let's go straight across to Karina Huber, who joins us from New York. Karina, initial jobless claims are up. Investors worried about the labor market. But the fact that exports have actually picked up, how are both of these macro points being read by the markets?
Well, George, what we're seeing today is that the markets have opened in the green, up about 0.1% after 6 straight days of losses. So essentially, investors are shrugging off the disappointing jobs data and focusing on the surprisingly good outlook on the trade deficits. That's going to help the second quarter GDP growth. What we saw with the trade data is that U.S. exports rose to an all-time high, up by 1.3%, helped by the weaker dollar, and we saw the biggest exports being for the industrials and the materials. And when it comes to imports, a dramatic drop from Japan, down 25% or $3 billion. That's, of course, because of the disasters that happened there. That most impacted, of course, the auto and auto parts exports. So big drop there. What's also interesting is that despite the fact that we saw oil prices make their biggest month-to-month jump in 3 years, we saw the volume of crude imports actually fall. So the overall import bill when it comes to crude fell. So that helped also with making the trade deficit shrink a little bit more than expected.